Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia of Ahluwalia Law Offices. Tune into their show between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Wednesday on 104.9 FM and ask her all your legal questions. Ms. Ahluwalia owns and operates Ahluwalia Law Offices PC. She received her law degree in 1996 from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and also has a graduate degree in English Literature and Master of Philosophy in English Literature from the University of Punjab, Chandigarh in India. Ms. Ahluwalia is also a certified mediator and has served as an appointed mediator for Collin County Courts. In addition to regularly volunteering at legal aid clinics hosted by the Legal Aid of Northwest Texas, Ms. Ahluwalia serves as a legal advisor to Chetna, a non-profit organization working on issues related to domestic violence. She also spearheaded and participated in the inaugural annual legal aid clinic that was held to benefit the underprivileged South Asian community. Ms. Ahluwalia also served on the North American South Asian Bar Association's Executive Committee and is the founding president of the South Asian Bar Association of Dallas. Her speaking engagements have included being the speaker at the National South Asian Bar Association's annual conference, speaking at the conference held by the Texas chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and a presenter to the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce activities. She has been featured in Texas Lawyer magazine for an article on law firm ethics. Ms. Ahluwalia speaks English, Hindi, Urdu and Spanish. Her office handles cases involving immigration and naturalization law, family law, business law, contract law and civil litigation. She can be contacted directly at 972-361-0606 or pallavi@yourdesilawyer.com. The content of this radio program is made available by Ahluwalia Law Offices PC for informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. The transmission and receipt of information contained in this program does not form or constitute an attorney-client relationship. Anyone receiving any part of information on this radio show should not act upon the information without seeking professional legal counsel. For best results, consult an attorney in person. The content of this radio program is available by Ahluwalia.
Good morning. Let's welcome Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. Good morning, Pallavi. How are you?
A wonderful morning to you, Indu. Thank you for being here and hosting me today for Your Business Matters. We know that Meetu's going to be out for the summer and you're going to be here, and good to have you first host me today. And I know that we were out for the last couple of shows, so ready to take the callers on the air and to be able to answer their questions. And I think that we can announce the number in the studio, of course, Indu, and I remember the number too, so I can do that too. It's 972-235-5555, and that's the number to call us here at Fun Asia, and I'm here with Your Business Matters to be able to answer your questions.
जी हाँ, कोई भी आपके पास सवाल है, पल्लवी जी हमारे साथ स्टूडियो में है, तो नंबर तो आपको पता ही है, 972-235-5555 इज द स्टूडियो नंबर. कोई भी सवाल आप पल्लवी जी से करना चाहते हैं तो पल्लवी जी आपको उस सवाल का जवाब जरूर देंगी. तो पल्लवी जी, आजकल क्या चल रहा है? इमिग्रेशन, ऑफ कोर्स.
So there was a big case, Sindhu, and this was something that was much awaited for. It was executive action that was announced by President Obama in 2014 November. Mm-hmm. It got challenged by Texas and about 26 states, and it went all the way to Supreme Court, and the issue at hand was whether the executive branch, which is President Obama, had the ability to give EADs or employment authorization to people that were here present illegally, mm-hmm. but were parents of U.S. citizens. So basically they had children that were born here. There was a requirement of entry at a certain time, and they should have been here for 5 years. And this was also expanding the existing DACA programs. And Texas actually challenged this lawsuit happened in Brownsville, and Texas challenged this on the basis of increased burden on Texas, saying that if Texas has to issue driver's licenses to the people that are getting their EADs, that would be increased burden on them, and that's the reason they took it all the way to the Supreme Court. Well, unfortunately, now everybody may also understand that Supreme Court right now has only 8 justices as opposed to 9. Mm-hmm. The 9th justice, he passed away in February of this year, Anton Scalia, and his absence created a split court, so the court could not come back, and they were split 4-4 each, and the case has gone back down now, and it upholds the Fifth Circuit decision as well as the decision of Texas. So at this point, there is no reprieve, even though President Obama did intervene and try to, through executive action, create some options for people that were here. I know we have calls coming in. Why don't we go ahead?
Yes, thank you. Let's see who is on the air. Hey, good morning. You live on the air. आपका सवाल?
Thank you for taking my call. I have a question. Currently, I am on H-4 visa, and this year my H-1 got picked up in a lottery.
Okay.
But I am waiting on the approval.
All right.
And recently, my husband's I-140 got approved, so planning to apply for my H-4 based EAD. So I was wondering, the application of EAD will affect my H-1 approval.
So, do you know if your H-1 was done as change of status from an H-4 to H-1, or was it done as consular processing?
It was done as a consular processing. I applied for the lottery and it got picked up.
So, you mean that the approval notice, and you check that once more, but does the approval notice not have an I-94 at the bottom?
Okay.
So if it does not have an I-94, then it was consular processing. But if it has an I-94 and it starts on 1st of October, then it was a change of status. So you have to just make sure, because if it was a change of status, then automatically on the 1st of October, you will become, you will go on to an H-1B, and you will have to take a step right now to either, the only way for you to remain on an H-4 would be for your employer to either withdraw you, and that would have to happen before September 30th. So before October 1st, that has to be withdrawn. I don't, and I have to intervene and give an opinion here. I don't suggest that, because there may be a later time that you may need this. So the better option may be for you to amend this to make it to consular processing, as opposed to letting that number go, because that number, as you know, is very, very sacred, and it's very precious, because 1 in 3 people or 1 in 4 people got selected in the lottery. And if you were lucky enough to do that, don't give it up.
Yeah.
So
I actually want to keep my H-1 status, but that's just I'm still waiting on the approval. So in the meanwhile, we applied for an EAD. So I was just wondering, will it affect the H-1 approval? Because I want my H-1 status to be there.
Okay, so you do not want to use your you want to use your EAD only up till September 30th, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, you'll get the EAD. That will not overrule your status.
Okay.
So if there was a change of status that was applied for, and that's why it's important for you to understand whether you had consular processing or a change of status. So if you had a change of status that was applied for, then it will kick in on 1st of October. Okay. And the application, so the application of the EAD will just give you the benefit. Even though if it gives you an EAD for 3 years, you don't have to use it. You can cut it off on September 30th.
By October 1st.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Aluwalia. Have a nice day.
Okay, thank you for calling. Let's see who's on the line
bye-bye.
now. Good morning, you live on the air. आपका सवाल?
Yes, my question is, I have my mom on a green card.
Okay.
My mother is on a green card, and she has been here almost 5 years.
All right.
And my question is, when can we apply for citizenship?
Yeah, so she's if she's been here 5 years and she's had physical presence in the country, so out of the 60 months, the last 60 months, she's had at least 30 months of physical presence, so 2.5 years of physical presence in the country. No stays outside of the United States for over 180 days. She is eligible to file now. She was eligible at the 4-year, 9-month mark.
Oh, 4 years and 9 months? Because, during the 5 years, we visited India twice, and one time we lived there for 4 months, and one time she lived there for 1 month.
Yeah, so that will not be held against her.
5 months from the 5 years, or?
Yeah. So based on what you're telling me, she has the physical presence requirement, and she did not interrupt her continuous residence by stepping out for over 180 days at any point. So she is eligible currently.
Okay, and what do we do, ma'am, to apply? Do we go online and download some form? Or?
Yeah, so there is, the form is called N400. Go through the instruction.
L for lollipop?
No, N for Nancy.
N for Nancy, N 400.
Yes, so and go through the instructions of the form. It does require two passport size pictures. It requires a front and back copy of the driver's license or the Texas ID for the person, and a front and back copy of the green card, and also tracing the steps on how long somebody was outside the country. So that's the only requirement in terms of, and the form has to be filled and signed by her, and the filing fees have to be submitted as well.
Okay, and also she's like 75-year-old, hardly she can hear. He has a problem with hearing, and when we do the citizenship test, then do we get any help?
Yeah, no. So she may have to, if there is a medical exemption that she can get, she can apply for a medical exemption, but that makes it a slightly more complicated, meaning that has to be submitted, and that's when they'll have to see if she's medically, she can't hear or she can't do anything, and that's the only reason that she may be excused from the test requirements. Otherwise, there is a requirement of the English language test as well as the civics test.
Okay, so if we get the doctor's note, do you think that will do? Or
it is a form.
Should we just take her for the test and then let them, because she won't be able to know any English more than her name and which country she lives, because she said it's really hard for her to remembering any of these questions.
Yeah, but that is not an excuse. So, I mean, just a bad memory will not be an excuse. However, if there is a medical exemption that has to be done a particular way, and you have to go to a doctor for a medical exemption, it's not a doctor's letter alone. It is a form that has to be filled. So the doctor has to do that examination and sign off on something for the USCIS that says that she is unable to hear, or she has unable to comprehend. So something more on a medical basis.
So how do we get that form for the doctor? So I can take it to the doctor. Do we download that form, or?
Yes. So yeah, just pull up the medical exemption for N400, and once you're doing that, that's the form to take it. I think it should be as 693, but I will in the middle of the show give you the name of that form that the doctor needs to fill. Okay. So just stay tuned, and I will pass on that form.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And thank you for your call as well as thank you for calling Fanisha. पल्लवी जी हमारे साथ इस स्टूडियो में है. अगर आपके पास कोई सवाल है, do call me 972-235-5555. Let's see who is with us now, Pallavi. Hey, good morning. You're live on the air.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for taking my question. Basically, I applied my passport 20 years ago, 98. So I got 20-year validity until 2018. So now I'm hearing that we need to get this mission-generated passports. Is that required?
Okay,
or
so
I can survive until 2008.
Okay, so just real quick. So you have currently a U.S. passport. So you're a U.S. citizen, correct?
No. It's Indian passport.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on green card. Yeah.
Okay, so you're on a green card and you have an Indian passport, so you will unfortunately have to just go through the Indian requirements. So here we do keep up, of course, we are required to keep up with the immigration law of the United States, but cannot keep up with the requirements of the Indian consulate. And also, I'll be honest, they're not very clear on their website. So you may have to, if you have received an instruction about the passport needing to be changed, I would do that as soon as you can, because there is no guarantee that the Indian consulate or your entry into India will not give you grief if you're not doing it in a timely fashion. And they may have some deadlines relating to that, sunsetting of, when the old passports could be used until. So I would be careful about that.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you for your call.
So, Indu, and before we go on, and we still probably have the previous caller listening, the form for the medical exemption for somebody who's disabled, and this is for the purposes of an N400, is N as in Nancy, 648. So that's the form, and once your mom, and this is to our previous caller again, gets checked out, this is the form the doctor will have to fill and send to the immigration.
So it's N648, is that right?
Correct.
Thank you. Good morning, you're live on the air. आपका सवाल. Well, do call 972-235-5555 is the studio number. Pulvi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Office is with us. अगर आपके पास कोई सवाल है तो don't hesitate to call. Once again, studio number 972-235-5555. And you can also call their offices at 972-361-0606. तो पल्लवी जी और क्या आज बताएंगी हमें?
Right. So at this time, the only updates that we're seeing is the fact that we have students that are out there that are having to sign off on the new form, and this is the training plan, the 983. I-983. We hope that you all are doing this in a proper fashion because, and I'm talking to the students as well as to the employers that are out there that are consulting companies, please do understand that there is a requirement that the student work on your site and not be sent out to an end client site which is separate from your site. So the employer who is training the student and the work that's being done has to be done on your side. So just be aware of that when you sign off. Otherwise, you are signing this under the penalty of perjury. So be careful.
Thank you. Good morning, you're live on the air. Your question, please.
Good morning. Palviji, good morning.
A wonderful morning to you. How may I help?
Palviji, I got a question. When you pull out for the family category, the priority date, if you go on the state website, the State Department website, and it says one date, it says on the top.
Sure.
When you scroll down, it's a different date. What is the difference?
Okay, yes, very good question. And I think this change happened about 5 months back. We had discussed it at that time, but let's just go over it. And that is the dates that say the final action dates are the dates for people that are currently now getting their green cards. The second date is an advisory from the government for USCIS to accept the adjustment of status or for the NVC to start off the process for those dates. So basically, one is the date in which based on which people are receiving their green cards and are getting current, and the other dates are just a precursor to getting your green card, so it's just kind of starting off the process. So even with those dates that you have there, you cannot rely on that, which is the second table. You cannot rely on that because USCIS, after this publication, confirms the date that it will accept. So you have to wait for the USCIS clarification to come in before anything gets filed.
So it means there's a 3 years gap right now on a sibling that I think is F4 or F5. I forgot that.
F4, yes.
F4. So it's 3 year difference coming up 2001 on India versus 2004.
Correct.
What is the real number? What is the real date? That's what I mean.
So the real date is the 2001. Those are the people that are now getting their green cards. But if your siblings are abroad and the process will get started by NVC reaching out to you, you should, if you have that as your date, say for example, you had filed for their case within that second table's time, which is May 1st of 2004, then you will hear from NVC and you'll have to submit the fee bills and you'll have to start doing the DS forms. So
all the process and everything.
Yes, the process will start.
A few months ago, that was 2003 and 2004. Now they reversed to 2001.
Yes, India is running quite behind in all categories, is all I can say, because of the number of immigrants that are coming from India.
All right. Thank you very much for the excellent information. Thank you.
Right. All the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 is the studio number. And if you would like to call Palviji's office, and the number is 972-361-0606. And for more information, you can visit their website, which is www.yourdacilawyer.com. I think, Palviji, you were telling me that the program is being recorded and you can...
Yes. So just if you go on to our website, which is ahluwalialaw.com, and for just a more convenient spelling, yourdacilawyer.com, there are recordings from all our past shows, and this recording for today will also be online by the end of the day today or by tomorrow morning. So if you want to listen to the answers or you have some confusion and you want to refer back or hear yourself ask me the question, you're welcome to go on and listen to it's recorded on YouTube as an audio clip.
Great, thank you. Good morning, live on the air. Your question, please.
Yeah, hello Pallaviji. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
My question is, I am on H-1B visa and recently my I-140 is approved. So if I want to share a company and work with a different company, is it going to change in my priority date or it's going to be the same?
Yeah, so for you to be able to switch companies, number one, you have to make sure that if your I-140 has been approved by a new regulation that was still pending, it's not finalized yet, you need to have that I-140 approved for at least 180 days. So that I-140 should be existing and approved for 6 months prior to you moving. That's the only way you can port your priority date. Now, when you go to employer number two will have to file a perm and get your I-140 approved and then ask for that old priority date from employer number one, and that's when it'll be given if it had been at least approved for 180 days.
Okay. And I have one more question.
Of course,
like my wife is also on H-1B visa and we're planning to change to H4 and H4 EAD.
Okay.
So in the future, if she wants to go back to the H1, can she go back to H1 from
Absolutely.
H4 or H4 EAD?
Yeah, she can. She has a choice. If she's already part of the quota, and that means that she's already used her H-1B, then that's an H-1B. Even if an employer withdraws it, it does not go back into the quota. It remains her number to use for 6 years from the time she started out. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
So she can continue using that or use her EAD.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you for your call. Hey, good morning, live on the air. आपका सवाल.
Hello, it's for Pallavi ji.
Yes.
And
go ahead,
can I ask a question, please? You know, my mom is on a 10 years visa, and she's about to finish that, and her visa actually expires on 11/2017, but her passport expires end of this year. So, what should I do first? Do I need to go back to India and renew the passport first, or I can apply for a green card right now? Right now she is with me, but my question was whether I can apply for a green card now, or I need to go back to India and renew the passport first, so that she can come back and do it later. What do you recommend, please?
So either way, it's a choice that you can make. The renewal of the passport can even happen from here if she has a validly filed case right now. You said that her passport expires end of the year?
Passport expires in 2016 of December.
Okay, so she still has 6 months. So as long as she has 6 months of validity, I think there should not be any problem for her to file her 485. Which is an I-130 485. You have to be mindful though that she should not have been in the country for less than 2 months or 3 months prior to applying. So if she's been in the country for over 2 or 3 months, she can apply for a change of status, which would be like...
Actually, that is my other question, because some urgency came up, and actually I was ready to file after 3 months. Now it is almost 5 months she had been with me. So what I'm trying to do is, next month, like 10th, she is going back to India, and she will be back again in August. You know, so once she comes back in August, that is the time after 3 months, August, September, October, November, I'm planning to file her again, because somebody told me that she needs to be here for 90 days before applying for a green card. Is it true?
Yeah, she needs to be here between 60 and 90 days. So her intention is not challenged because she's coming in as a visitor. She cannot have a preconceived intent for doing this. The other thing that I have is that when she comes back in, she'll have a shorter validity on her passport. So my suggestion is that she either get her passport renewed when she comes back in, or even if she were to apply for her adjustment of status at this point, she is eligible, even if she's at the 5-month mark. Okay, all that requires...
But the question is, if she applies right now, July 11th, she's traveling back to India. Does it make any hindrance?
She cannot travel. She cannot travel till she has advance parole. And Indu tells me we're running out of time.
So running out of time. So
real quick, I'll just quickly wrap this up. So if it is that she applies for it, she cannot leave on her as per her plan, which is July 11th, like you said. She has to wait for her AP to come in prior to leaving the country. So your plan 2 may work.
So you recommend that when she comes back in August, she can apply for renew her passport, right?
Correct.
Indian passport.
yeah. So she must renew her Indian passport, so she has a longer validity. When she enters, she can use her
She
old
can do
visa.
it. Okay, my question is, she can do it.
Sorry, आपकी आवाज कट जाएगी. Sorry, thank you, Pallavi.
Signature Smiles is offering free implants and Invisalign Consult. Call for an appointment at their Richardson